Hey family, welcome to the box. Today we're going to be talking about. Actually, before we start, what we're going to be talking about, right? There's this particular situation that I've been facing. The issue is that when you try to talk to our people about the African history, when I say our people, I mean the Africans in the diaspora, and of course some of the Africans back home in Africa as well. When you try to tell them about the greatness of our ancestors in the past, they tend to be in disbelief, which I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the reason for that. When I tell them, or when you tell them um, African history, like about how Africans were on the top in the past and everything, they tend to receive it as super stories, as we call it back home, or perhaps fairy tales. When it's actually not the case. When there are substantial evidences to back whatever you are telling them, they still find it difficult to believe. You understand? I don't know how we got to this point, but so I would want to use this opportunity to urge anybody who has this belief in their mind that in order for you to have absolute disbelief to whatever you are told about African history, I feel like you should dig more yourself, right? I'll try as much as possible to be bringing up evidences while I explain my stuff over here as well, so that you can learn. You understand? African history is important to us because it will help us to tap from the wisdom of the past, and be able to shape our present and to mold our future. You understand? So yeah. So now let's get into the topic and don't waste no time. Today we're going to be talking about the Sankore University. Yeah, the Sankore University was built by Mansa Musa in the year 1327, right? So I know majority of us may be surprised because a lot of the things that we heard about Mansa Musa is about the pilgrimage he went to Mecca and the riches he shared on his way to Mecca, the gold inflation he caused in the Cairo economy and all that, right? But this one is to talk about his intellectual aspect. Yeah. So this university was built in Mali, West Africa, to be precise, right? And it was home for 25,000 students at its peak, and also it had a library that contained over 700,000 manuscripts. You understand? So this should tell you the amount of knowledge that is there to acquire in this university. The university at this time was one of the largest university in the world. And the curriculum that it taught was science, mathematics, geography, uh, philosophy, occultic science, and medicine. And recent studies showed that some of the manuscripts that were converted from Arabic language into French, you know, were sent to the University of Sorbonne in in France, Paris, right? So the university came back saying that the level of mathematics that Sankore University were being I mean were being taught 600 years ago is equivalent to the level 200 of the university's mathematics degree program. You understand? This is mind blowing, guys. This is absolutely mind blowing. Something that's been taught 600 years ago, a second year degree program, text equivalence, bro. That is crazy to me. I'm not gonna lie. Aside from this, medical textbooks show detailed explanation on how to conduct an eye cataract removal surgery. Can you imagine? And to even go further, thousands of manuscripts were found that happened to be, poetry that were written in Arabic and also in the local dialects using the Arabic alphabet. So this totally debunks the fact that people think that Africans before the coming of the Europeans were illiterate and they could not read or write. You understand? They so this is proof that our ancestors in the 14th century were scholars. Also, there was a scholar from Hijaz, modern day Saudi Arabia, who traveled to Mali in order to teach in the Sankore University. Guess what he was told? He was asked to go take a 10-year requirement course at the Karawiyan University in Morocco before he could be admitted into the Sankore University as a student. Can you imagine that a whole professor like being asked to go take a 10-year course in another university before he or she comes in to be a student in Sankore, bro? This tells us the kind of knowledge that is being passed on in our own university, Sankore. And sadly, in 1591, Sultan Al Mansur of Morocco, who was a black man himself, invaded the Songhai Empire with firearms, which was provided to him by the Queen of England, Elizabeth the First, right? After him helping her to defeat her enemies, which were the Portuguese, in 1578.